Kaddish is our prayer that allows us to recall and to remember loved ones who are no longer with us. So in our congregation this Shabbat, we think particularly of Charles Hardun, father of Janet Barak, grandfather of Mayan Barak, and great-grandfather of Lilibet and Itan. We think also of Derek Phillips, husband of Tessa Phillips, of Ralph Siegel, father of Joyce Lucas, of Harold and Sheila Collett, parents of Andrea, grandparents of Alexander, Ruth and Natasha, and of Ellis Burke, my grandfather, great-grandfather to Reuben, who's here, of course, and Dora and Raphael. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may those of us who recall and remember our loved ones be comforted a little in our loss as we say together the words of Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, v'yamad divrach hirutei v'yamlit malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam omer maya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha brichu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbahata v'nechemata da'amiram b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol bnei Adam, v'imru, amen. So let's sit down. Just a tiny announcement before we finish our service with Od Yavor, Shalom Aleinu, and gathering around Kiddush. I think we have a mixture of latkes, ice cream, and other things, all sorts. A very unusual Kiddush today.
But yummy. Okay, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, so just a few thank yous. Thank you to Rabbi Rebecca for taking the service so beautifully, for Dean, Sam and Natasha for our music, and for everybody who took part in the Torah service, to Rafi, to Phoebe, to Sam, to Mike, to John for saying the community prayers, and a big thank you to Michael and Rachel who are on the tech desks and doing such a wonderful job, Josie, our Zoom host, our welcomer Joyce, and our Kiddush ladies Mayan and Louise, and Paul who's out on security in this rather wet weather, so thank you all to them. There aren't many announcements this week because things are winding down, but everything you have is in your weekly notices. Just to say that next weekend, if you would like to, you need to book in, but there is another afternoon of the members' conversations at Rabbi Rebecca's house, and everything about booking in for it is in there. Next week is the last week of the Ivriya term, and they've got all sorts of things planned for that. And the only other thing I'm going to mention is that on the 29th of July, the MAC group were going to go to Capel Manor if we had enough people. Unfortunately, there weren't, so we're going to be here instead, and we're going to have Stanley Vokes talk about his life in the fashion industry because he was poorly on the day he was supposed to do it, so we've reinstated that instead. And finally, before I go down and we can get on to Kiddush, I'd like to ask Mike to come back up here, please, because although we have next week, and so there'll be other things next week, I wanted to say it's been lovely working with you. Thank you for all your input to our community, and we have a little something, but it is breakable, so don't drop it.
Thank you very much.
Just to say thank you very much, and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
I really want to just hold this to show. So what Mike has is a special pot for matches for Shabbat, for lighting your Shabbat candles that say the Walton family. And I just think how much warmth and light you have brought to us this year. So for you, Mike, and that's also for you. So I'm going to ask Ivriya to come up for a final blessing today as we sing Od Yavor Shalom Aleinu. Beatrix, you could bring Matilda with you if she would like to come. Isaac, maybe you'd come, so siblings come up and join us up on the bima. for a blessing just under a talit. And George and Shmuel always have to be thanked for the beautiful way that they lead the Amidah, which is now a very strong mincha custom in our congregation. So let's stand, everyone, as we have our children underneath. We'll sing our Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, and then we will bless them.
Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'agulah. Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Ve'agulah. Salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu ve'agulah. Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu, Shabbat Shalom Aleinu ve'agulah. Salam, salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Salam Aleinu le'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam.
So a final blessing, keep up the talitot. A final blessing for our young people, for our teachers, this moment of the year, as new things are going to emerge. A Hatzlacha to Natasha and Olana, who are going to be our next Banot Mitzvah in January, and looking ahead to that. And this will be our last Shabbat B'Yachad in our building before we move out temporarily. I know there's great shock, obviously. Before we move out temporarily, and you will have all the details of that for next week and what's going to happen. But a blessing for all of us. Adonai yishmor tzedcha u'vo'echa me'ata va'ad olam. May the Eternal One guard your going out and your coming in, now and always. And let us all say, Amen. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Straight to Kiddush.